Here, everybody, Spectacular, the Silver Stacular. I have some fakes right here. I'm going to mix these up because I have some fakes mixed in with some good coins. A member of the community named Wayne sent me his counterfeit Morgan dollars that he got while he was on Facebook and saw an ad for coins. Went around and lo and behold, some of those websites, I guess, were shady and sold him fake coins. And luckily, I believe he was able to get his money back. But just realize that when you go to those places, Instagram, Facebook, other places that have advertisements, those ads oftentimes just give money to the websites that they are shown on. And those websites don't do any checks and balances to make sure that what they're selling is not, counterfeit. Eventually, they might get enough reports that they might take the ads down, but that could take a while, and by then, a lot of fakes and counterfeits could be out in our hobby. So, just realize that. But big shout out to Wayne for, of course, he got fooled, but he's willing to help the community, and he's more knowledgeable now, and he's going to help us learn about counterfeits. So in this video, I'm going to use some testing methods to go through these coins and see which ones are real and which ones were fake. We have different methods. One great one is your eyeballs. Use your eyes. I know we start getting our eyes are, going to fool us as we get older. So there are other machines that we can use and other tools for sure besides just our eyeballs, but that's a great method, right? Look at the coins, get familiar with some real Morgan dollars and peace dollars and coins in general, and understand what to look for, right? Just visually. That's a great free tool right there. If your eyes start failing on you, you have other really cool methods and cheap methods too. A digital scale from Amazon or wherever you want to get one, super cheap. I mean, less than $5 generally. It comes from China, just like some of these fakes right here. So, whatever. We fight fire with fire. But yeah, grab yourself a digital scale that has grams and troy ounce on there, and you can end up just doing so well with something like that. Also, I have a pocket pinger here. I love that thing. I'll have a link for the pocket pinger, first link in the description. Also, get yourself a nice discount using my discount code right there close to that link, and save yourself some money on these. These are great. Bring these to coin shows, coin shops, and just have them in there. You don't have to have the pocket pinger because you can use the method of balancing it on your finger and doing that for pinging coins. And I'll show you that here in a minute what I'm talking about. But that being said, you're going to a coin show, coin shop. You start dropping people's coins all over the place. They land on the floor. They're going to get a little upset. They're going to stop allowing you to ping things, right? But if you have one of these, you ask permission first. You mind if I ping your coin? They'll be more accepting, I believe, because this actually grips the coin, stops it from falling. These are long-winded videos, but there's a lot of information, FYI, for all members, all levels of the community. Also, a couple bucks on Amazon. You have a rare earth magnet. Let me get this off of my knife here. But these rare earth magnets, you can get different sizes and different shapes for just a couple dollars after shipping. I mean, it's super cheap. Highly recommend a rare earth magnet. And again, Amazon will have these, and highly recommend you getting one of those. Your fridge magnets might not be as good. These right here really tell the tale because they are strong magnets, and yeah, they do the job. So get yourself a rare earth magnet. If you're feeling like you want to have a lot of bullion in your life and you want to have a lot of testing done, you can go ahead and get something like this right here. This is great if you are more concerned about precious metals as opposed to like other coins, coins that are not precious metals related. This right here is a precious metals tester, okay? Sigma Metalytics. This cost, $800 at the time. I don't know what they are now. There's different levels though, and different people charge different prices too. You can get a lower level or a higher level. It's going to be more expensive, less expensive. But this right here is great. But all of these are only one tool, and sometimes one tool can't do the entire job. There's also more expensive methods like the XRF method, which is, super duper expensive, and that also doesn't always tell the entire story. Again, long-winded video. Now, these should be 26.73 grams if I am correct on my numbers when it comes to Morgan weights. And we're going to go ahead and test this. Now, there's also a water disbursement. You can do that method right there, but try to do that when you're at a coin show or coin shop. That's not going to work out very good. And you can't really do the water disbursement test when you are displacement test, however you want to say it, whenever you're shopping online either. That's going to have to wait until you get home. So you know, some of those tests are not really feasible. So we're going to test all of these. Some of these are real, some of these are fake. I believe Wayne gave me 4 or 5 fake ones. I think Wayne, I forget now what the number is. 26.6 grams. I'd say that's close enough to 26.73. A little wear and tear on the coin means it's going to weigh less generally, but it shouldn't be too much less. 20.4 grams. That's a lot less. We're going to put that in the I don't believe that's good pile. Now, realistically, that's good enough right there based off of the look of the coin, which seems like it doesn't have a lot of wear to it. You know, and it's just like, that's good enough. That one little test right there with a cheap, less than $5 digital scale would have told me everything I needed to know. This one right here seems like it might be okay. Let's see. 26.6 grams. We're going to keep going. And like I did mention, these are long-winded videos, but there's so much information. There's so many different ways to test things, and there's so many people still getting scammed. Even though long-winded videos like this exist out in our hobby, people still get scammed all the time. You know, it's just, it is what it is. So forgive my long-windedness, but I'm really, really trying to help. I'm trying to encourage people to get real things. And the problem is, you know, you're going to get these fake coins and, you know, they're going to go to somebody else and somebody else is going to get scammed. And it's like, man, let's just nip it in the bud. Let's destroy these things. In fact, on this video, I'm going to try to destroy them, at least one of them. 26.0 grams. So here we have a coin that is, you know, it's starting to get kind of a distance away from the 26.7. I mean, we're 0.7 grams off. So that being said, you look at the condition of the coin here, and if you know anything about Morgan dollars, you know that there should be some breast feathers here. You should have more hairlines visible in Morgan's hairline right here. Everything should be raised up a little bit more. And so this is a worn coin. So to lose 0.7 grams from a really worn coin that's old, that's a possibility. That surely is a possibility. That being said, I'm going to put that in the over here, just in case, right? We're going to do more test methods on all of these, but, you know, I'm kind of a little bit more curious about that one. Of course, it's worn down, so I'm less curious, but you get my point. 20.5 grams. That's way off. I mean, that's almost 7 grams off. 26.2, again, worn coin. That's not really that big of a deal. It is kind of worn out a little bit. And again, you can tell from the hairline, the high points, the breast feathers, these wings are starting to get worn down. Overall, I love the look of it though. I love a worn down, toned up Morgan dollar, I tell you what. But you know what? We'll put that in the maybe pile anyways, just for fun. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. And here is, well, here's an interesting thing. So I'm going to zoom way in. You can see the CC, right? Carson City. Any Carson City Morgan dollar, you really want to double check because that is a highly counterfeited coin. And you just want to make sure that you know what's going on right there. And sometimes too is they actually counterfeit coins. Like, so they'll have a Carson City, they'll have the improper reverse on a date that never made a Carson City. And that's something to look for too. It's interesting, you know, it's interesting. 20.2 grams. So right here we have 4 that are definitely counterfeit, right? Just by one test alone, just by the scale. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going because there could be more counterfeits in here. I genuinely forget how many Wayne sent me, and we really want to make sure that everything is on the up and up. But that scale would have saved us from at least 4 counterfeits right off the bat. Next, let's go ahead and magnet test everything. This is a real quick test, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to work. The counterfeiters get smarter. They stop using alloys that are magnetic because it's just an easy test. So we're going to go through everything. And so silver is actually diamagnetic, and so it's not going to have magnets are not going to stick like they would to iron, onto a Morgan dollar or peace dollar or any 90% silver coinage. But it will have an effect, right? It is going to have this effect where, like, if you were to keep it at like a 45-degree angle, it will slowly work its way down the coin. And it's hard to tell. It doesn't, very, very quickly just skirt down. It just kind of like drags itself down the coin. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I actually made a slope, a big long slope that really, really helps with that. That being said, if they were to just kind of almost like paint a silver over top, or have a really small plating of silver over a piece of copper, that will have the same effect, because copper will also do this. Just so you guys and gals know, it will have the, so there we go, nice and slow. I don't know if you can see that. A 45-degree angle, nice and slow over top, as opposed to one of these fakes, right? It just skirts so differently. It's not totally sliding down, like it's just got no resistance whatsoever. So I'd imagine there's a copper core, or at least a little bit of copper in this, but it definitely goes slower. So we're gonna, like I said, take one and open it up here in a little bit. This is way long of a video, but that's typically how it goes with me. I'm a big mouth. Used to call me motor mouth back in the day. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to use the Sigma Metalytics. This is a more expensive machine right here. This might be a 25-minute video. We're going to go over to the setting that is recommended for Morgan dollars, which is 90% US coin pre-1900. Let me actually zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on here. And we're going to run and calibrate the machine. And we're just going to simply put everything on this green sensor. And if they are real, we should see a little bar within the bracket that exists right here. If there's an arrow on the right or left, that's going to mean that the alloy is not correct. And generally this right here is going to work for something so simple like a Morgan dollar or a peace dollar. So it's within the brackets, we're good. We're going to put that in the good pile over here. In the brackets, we're good. Sometimes as the machine gets utilized a lot, I've noticed that it kind of might take a second for that bracket to figure itself out. That being said, this was in the pile right here that I believe the weight was good. But you can see that the bracket is over here and the little bar is on the right. So that's we're going to put that over in the not so good pile. That's interesting, all right? Let's keep it going though. So we got to double check that with something else, or triple check, I guess. And again, this is why it's good to have multiple test methods. Here we go. Good in the brackets. Good in the brackets. Now these machines can get, let's call it fooled sometimes, depending on the alloy. That is possible. And again, although it's an expensive machine, it can still get fooled. The expensive, $15,000 to $25,000 XRF that requires a license to use can also get fooled. It's a surface test. The water displacement test can get fooled. If you don't know what you're doing, especially. That being said, it's kind of like a really, really good test if you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, of course, it's going to be getting fooled too. You have to make sure all the measurements are right and the math is right. That being said, try to do a water displacement test when you're at a coin show or coin shop. That's going to be something that is no bueno. I don't think you're going to like you dipping their coins in water and taking time and splashing water all over the counter. But if you know what you're doing, it's a great test for at home. At home. A real slow test too. It's not going to be as quick as any of those. So again, we're going to use that same one. So all of these coins, all 5 of these are looking like they're not matching up to the correct alloy for what a Morgan silver dollar should be, which is 90% silver. So there we go. That's that test. And let's back it up. So there we go. I think that these are the 5 that Wayne sent me. And again, big shout out to Wayne for, having the courage, first of all, to, basically put his tail between his legs and admit, he was incorrect. It is what it is. We've all made mistakes in this hobby, and it's about trying to make the least amount of mistakes and trying to get educated so this doesn't happen, and also helping other people to not, get scammed. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that out there. I mentioned in one of my last videos how a person who works at a shop was giving me incorrect information. He told me the weight can't be faked, all right, when it comes to silver coins and rounds. It can totally be faked. It can totally be faked. So don't trust just one method. And again, we're gonna actually weigh that one more time. I want to make sure that I weighed that the right way. So let's move that down. I got it back onto the grams, and these are the real light ones, which was 20.4 grams. This one says. Let's weigh this one again, which is the one that's toned up. You can see how this one is toned up, and the one on the left is not toned. It's kind of shiny, has some scratches on it, not perfect. This is a 78 San Francisco and a CC on my left, which again, CC's Carson City, dangerous coin right there. You have to look at those twice each and every time. I will say that they feel way different in the hand. This one right here feels more like a real Morgan dollar, it has just a certain feel to it. Once you feel a bunch, you're kind of like, okay, that feels right. That being said, you can't just trust that. I will say, if you look at like Liberty in the headband right there, it is so crisp, and that is not the way. I don't know if I have a really good Morgan here. That is not the way we should be seeing our headband. So let me see if I can put the two together right there. This is a little bit better, but you can see how crisp that Liberty looks. It's not how it goes, unfortunately. So there's some differences you can see right there in a real on the right versus a fake on the left. And there you go. All right, so let's measure this one again. What is the weight? 26.4. Again, that would throw a lot of people off if they were only judging this coin by weight, because they would go, well, you know, a little difference in weight can be acceptable. Now we're going to go with the last test method, which, I mean, any of these test methods can be used in any, you know, order. It doesn't have to be the last one, but sometimes for me, a pocket pinger is my first method. Sometimes I just use the Sigma, you know, for the first method. Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and test this one right here. Now, this can be a problem if you start getting older and that sound starts to escape you a little bit, because the sound can, you know, not be so good once you get older, right? I mean, you're going to need to hear some high pitch sounds when you do this. That being said, there are apps that go in conjunction with the pocket pinger, and I believe if you go to their website, which again I have as the first link down below with a coupon code, which is great for you to get a discount, that their website and app will be on there, and you can go ahead and get the app, and that will help you if you are hard of hearing to be able to use that app. And that app, I've used it before, I've showed it off on the channel. It's great because it just goes, yep, that coin shows it's not looking good, might want to do some other test methods, or it's way off. It's a good way, it's a good you know, way of doing business. And realistically, the app is going to be better than your ears each and every time. We know how that works. So all you got to do, and they got a beaten stick that goes with it. I'm looking for my beaten stick. I don't see it. So I'm just going to use this method right here, which is literally just taking it and flicking it this way, and it'll hit that little ramp, and we're going to hear it. I'm going to put it next to the speaker so you can really hear it. So it does have a ring that does resonate for a while. But that is a high-pitched, weird ding. So here's a real Morgan dollar we're going to put in there. We're going to hear the same length of sound-ish. It's probably going to ring a little bit longer, but it's going to be way different sounding too. Listen to this. As opposed to, I won't get it in there. So you can hear this is much higher pitch right here, and it rings for a decent amount of time. This one right here, it sounds beautiful. Doesn't a real coin just sound so good? Oh my goodness, put it back in here. If I had that beaten stick, it would just make it so much better. Oh, look who came to join us. I just found it, the beaten stick. There we go, the stack stick. I call it the beaten stick. There's nothing like the ring of a real Morgan dollar, I tell you what. So that is a real deal. This one, again, we're going to use the beaten stick on it. It's not good. So for this particular coin, Wayne, as you saw, the scale would have proved that it was probably okay, but the Sigma would have got it, and the pocket pinger would have definitely got it. I don't think that the magnet would have been conclusive without some kind of ramp system, a longer method of testing it in order to determine that the magnet was good enough for any of these. And that being said, if there's some copper in there, it can fool the magnet too. Here is another one of the known fakes. Sounds terrible, like I just broke glass. Wayne, I'm gonna have to send you like a little gift pack for this too. I appreciate the education one, for sure. And I'm sure that somebody out there, at least one person, is gonna benefit from this. golly, it sounds worse and worse each and every time. And again, if you had the app along with this pinging device right here, the pocket pinger, you would see that there would be sound resonating and it would just say, hey, not good, no good. So there are the 5 fakes that Wayne has sent me. And then Wayne, again, thank you for your sacrifice. I believe you said you got a refund, which is great. Greatly appreciate that. But yeah, there we go. And these are the real ones. And here's a real up-close look, if you would like, at these counterfeits. And there are plenty of counterfeits out in our hobby. And like I tell everybody, now that prices are coming up, you need to be more and more concerned about the counterfeits that are out there, because they're going to be more and more prevalent as prices come up. So maybe you can see here. There's also some other methods we could do. We could caliper these right here. So these at a glance do look a little thin, so which probably doesn't help with their weight situation being thin like that, but they do kind of look thin. This one right here looks much thicker. My calipers are behind me, and this video is already 21 minutes into it, but I do want to cut one of these fakes open and see what it looks like inside to show you that it's not all silver, because the alloy should be the same throughout. I would imagine that this has a, let's call it a golden center, but it's going to be more like a copper center. It might even be a little bit of a brass with how high-toned those things were. So there you go. Those are the fakes. All right, let's cut one open. All right, here we go. And to my surprise, it actually kind of looks weird inside. I don't know what kind of alloy that would be. It's kind of gross looking, as you can see. What I did was I flattened it out first, and then I snapped it, but it's not all silver inside. It looks almost like clay or something. Kind of strange. So some weird alloy, but definitely not all silver inside. So there you go. Kind of gross. Also, I didn't really mention this, but the Red Book of Coins is great, and other coin books are pretty cool too, because sometimes they will have accurate sized photos. So you can literally, and you can do this at a coin show easily, take your Morgan dollar and put it up on the picture of the coin. And again, this is not going to work for all books, but definitely the Red Book of Coins does this. And, match it up, and you shouldn't see the edge hanging way off, which means that it is at least sized correctly. Doesn't mean that that's guaranteeing anything whatsoever, but the size right there does matter, you know what I mean? This one right here, it looks like it is sized pretty good, at least that way. Now again, they are very thin. I actually went to go look for my calipers just now, because I was like, you know what, let me do it, but I couldn't find them. But they're not too thin, but you can tell they're just slightly thinner than the Morgans that are real. Very, very slightly. But there you go. And that hopefully will help somebody. And again, Wayne, if you're listening, all we need is to help at least one person not fall for these counterfeits. So don't trust a website just because it appeared on one of your favorite websites. And that could be anything. That could be a coin forum. That could be anywhere. Because a lot of times those advertisements on those websites are also covered by Google ads and just putting things anywhere. And they just, all they really care about is that those companies are paying them money. I got to go for now. Greatly appreciate you. Hopefully you don't get fooled. If you do, don't feel bad about sending me your counterfeits. I will get rid of them, and that way they won't get back out into the hobby, and we'll educate some people at the same time. Spegtacular is out. Well, hello, everybody. I seek to educate and entertain through my journey of collecting coins and stacking precious metals. I encourage you to subscribe, and please stay with me on this journey. I am Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular. When I was a kid, we did this every day in school, and I believe we need to bring this back a little bit, and I'm going to start right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.